Hello Glenpool, welcome to the November edition of Glenpool at a Glance. This is our monthly video series that talks about what is happening across Glenpool. And so over the last couple months, you have probably noticed all the road work we've got going on across the city. So we've had a number of questions about that, including some of them like, how did you determine which roads to do? How much is the city spending on these types of repairs annually, and so much more. And so I want to answer a few of those questions today as we walk through some of these repairs and talk about all things transportation related here at the moment within the city. So let's get started. Part of what's going on right now in the road repair projects that are currently underway, and we'll be finishing up here hopefully over the next couple of weeks. We're down to the last 3 projects across the city. And so hopefully those will be finished up here within the next 2 weeks on that. Thank you, by the way, for your patience during those. I know that's been a lot of projects and some of them on our main arterials. And I know that has been a pain point sometimes to be slowed down during that. But thank you for that as we work to repair these. Over this last summer, the projects that we're doing have been about 23 different projects, almost $700,000 in road projects this summer. Now that crosses 2 budget timelines for us. So our budget year starts in July. So we bid some projects out towards the end of May and June, had those approved, got those started. We've been working into then July with another set of bids that we put out immediately after the budget year started to take advantage of the crews already out working. And so we've been able to get 2 years worth of work here done over this summer period. But as I said, 23 projects, $699,000 and change is what that total actually included this year. Now those are projects that we're doing as a city. Those are partnership projects that we are putting money towards with the city of Jinx and Tulsa County. Those are the long overlays that you see along Elwood and 131st and 141st. And so thank you to Jinx, thank you to Tulsa County and the County Commissioner Kelly Dunkerley for your partnership on these projects. We appreciate you guys in helping us out with this process that benefits all of us. Those are border roads here in the city for us between Jinx and Glenpool. But over the last 5 years, I just wanted to kind of bring everybody's attention to how much the council has appropriated for road projects over the last 5 years. Because I know sometimes as you drive around town, many of our road projects are back in neighborhoods. We're fixing neighborhood roads that have begun to fail. And so unless you're driving in that neighborhood or in that particular area, you don't always realize some of the road projects that are happening. And it looks like nothing's happening around the city. So wanted to talk briefly about our history and where we've been. So over the past 5 years, the city has done 66 different projects that total over $2.3 million. That is a lot of money that has gone towards that. Now, part of that has been the last phase of Warrior Road, right? And so that piece was just about $700,000. So take Warrior Road and let's set it aside because it is a major, major project for us. The others have all been smaller repairs, where we've cut pieces out of the roadway or we've milled roadways and replaced those areas. That is still just over $1.6 million over the past 5 years that the city council has appropriated for roadways. And just, I want to say a thank you as well, since we're talking about Warrior Road. Thank you to those that voted for Move Glenpool Forward. That Warrior Road project and the widening was a part of that, one of our big projects, one of the first big projects we did on that. In case you're interested, Move Glenpool Forward paid $750,000 of the total $1.7 million that it cost to do that road. So this totals that you see we talked about, the 2.3 do come from city budgets as well as Move Glenpool Forward budgets for that Warrior Road portion. But out of just the Warrior Road itself was a $1.7 million project. Move Glenpool Forward paid $750,000. City funds paid the remainder of that, and that was split over a 3-year period through there as well. So we've got a graphic that's going to come up on the screen here and show you just what has happened each year. And so we want to point that out so you have a chance to see what our actual spending looks like each year as we walk through that. But we've done, for example, 20 projects back in the fiscal year for us, 1920. Over fiscal year 2020, 2021, we did another 15 projects. That's the year that Warrior Road was counted. And you'll see that on the chart reflected that it was a significantly higher amount than the prior year. So as you work your way through that, you can see all the monies that we spent, the major road projects, and some of these are minor road projects that are just simple mills and overlays in a neighborhood of maybe 100 feet of roadway in an area. I want to thank the council for their budgeting in this, thank them for their forward thinking as part of the maintenance and road projects on that. We've not always been able to spend that much money in the past, and so it was great to be able to have them support us in this process to try to fix as many roads as possible over the last 5 years. So what's going to happen now in the future? And I want to talk about a few things that are still on our list to get done and how we're moving forward with those. And so first, let me talk about a couple of grant projects. The city currently has 3 different grants for sidewalk improvements across town. I know there are some areas of the city that don't have sidewalks. Now, we are trying to look at those areas as we're able to and see what can be done. But these 3 areas all deal with connecting our kids in the school system to various parts of town. And so from those 3 grants, that is a $2.5 million project across all 3. Now, they won't happen immediately. One of them is almost done with engineering, and so we will begin to bid out something probably into next year. I would say spring, maybe summer next year, that we would hopefully begin to bid these out into phase 1 of those 3. The second one is just started on engineering to design. And the third grant, we just got the grant paperwork approved at the council meeting here this month. So the November council meeting, City Council approved the paperwork with ODOT for grant funds for the 3rd sidewalk grant to finalize this. And we would anticipate it will start engineering design sometime early to mid next year. So none of these are going to be quick on the sidewalk grants, but I wanted to give you an update on those because we are working to try to improve our sidewalk and our connectivity across the city. The other one is the other grant that we have that we're excited about, because it's both a grant as well as a Move Glenpool Forward project for us, is the Elwood widening. So this runs from 151st up to 141st. We'll probably extend that slightly past the school system, the brand new school building that's there as part of this process. So phase 1, which is the grant piece, is actually design, and then movement of any utilities that are in the way, and acquiring right-of-way that we need to widen Elwood. So just want to, again, back to this process. This is not construction on this grant. This is the design and engineering aspect. We anticipate it will start design engineering probably late summer, maybe early fall next year. But I'm bringing it up because it is a Move Glenpool Forward project, and it is a piece that we continue to get asked about. When is that going to happen? So I want to make sure we get that out there. A couple of the ongoing projects that we've had or we've talked about that are going to be happening coming up in the future is part of that Elwood widening corridor. So 151st, thank you again to those that participated in that corridor study and those public hearings. That project is set to wind down here probably spring of 2024, and the final reports coming back from the engineers to ODOT and to the city. We expect to see some improvements and then some movement along that so that we are able to add signalization on 151st. I don't have a timeline for certain when and where. We hope that will be along Broadway. We hope that will be along Elwood, but we're waiting to see what ODOT approves as part of that corridor study, and that will happen next spring. But we are excited that it will allow at least some signalization, we believe, in that corridor. So keep your eye out for that. We'll be talking about that, bringing that back to council when it finishes up next spring. And hopefully we can get those signalization projects moving fairly quickly, at least the Broadway one. If it gets approved by ODOT and included in the study, we would like for them to move forward as quickly as possible on the Broadway signalization project. The other big piece for us is 141st. Yes, we are planning to seal that street and then restripe the entire mile section from 75 to Elwood. So with that, I don't have a timeline yet. We had hoped to be getting it in as part of this bid package that they are currently going, but the reality was we had some other projects that had to get moved up on that list because the roads were bad enough that we had to move them forward on the priority list. And so as our teams look at that, they evaluate those regularly, and when we're ready to go out for bid, they pull those projects and base them on a priority listing that they have on the severity of the roadway that they see in front of them every day. As they start seeing cracks, as they start seeing pavement failures, these are more than just little cracks that we can put crack sealer in and a sealant on top of. These are actual pavement failures that we see, and that's what we've been working on over the past 5 years, is to fix as many of those pavement failures across the city as we can. We know there are more. We will be doing more every year, but what happened is 141st, the sealing and striping of 141st got pushed back, and so there is a potential that if our budgets do really well this year, that maybe we can get this done before the end of this current fiscal year in May or June. But the likely scenario is this will happen in July, August, September again as we rebid next year's bid packages for our roadway improvements. This will be one of the top priorities that we have for next year based on what we're seeing today. So just wanted to give everybody an update. I know that corridor causes a lot of conversation in the city. As one of the final projects that will be either underway or finished as this video comes out is the hump that sits right there at the end of the bridge on 141st near 75 in front of the school building, in front of their school administrative building. That is being fixed as part of our current projects. So we were able to get that in and fix that, but not finish up the rest of the striping. One final thing, and this is a big one for us. We are excited about this, and hopefully the public is as well, because I know we have been hearing this and answering questions and working with you and working with ODOT for the past 6, 7 or plus years. What is happening at 141st and Highway 75? I am excited that we have finally got some plans moving forward with ODOT. The design plans are almost finished, and as such, they are scheduling a public hearing for the end of November. So that will be November 28th. It will run from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Glenpool Conference Center. If you drive that corridor, if you live along that area, if you have businesses along that area, I would encourage you to be at the conference center November 28th from 5:30 to 7:30 to see the plans, to hear the presentation from ODOT, and to talk about that, because it will be a significant upgrade to what we see today as they move forward with this process. And you will want to be a part of that conversation so you know what was happening. We anticipate, and based on what we're hearing from ODOT, and I'm sure they'll talk more about it at the meeting, that this will be under construction sometime mid to late 2024. So we anticipate it going out for bid early to mid 24, and then those construction will follow based upon how those bids come back and are awarded. Again, that's a process controlled by the state, by the Department of Transportation, but we have been able to work well with them on this project once we were able to get it started. So again, just thank you to the city council members that were consistently having conversations with ODOT. Thank you to our city staff that was consistently reaching out and having conversations. Thank you to you, the public, that reached out and talked about this problem with ODOT. And thank you to our legislative officials who got involved as well and helped us with this. This is an interim piece. ODOT is moving a little bit out of order to try to fix a problem area, and they will come back later and finish up the rest of the 75 project at some future date. And so we were thankful that ODOT was able to move this forward, and for all of those that were involved. That's a lot to cover, and a lot of different projects happening across the city over the next several years. But I wanted to make sure we had a conversation about it. This is one of our most asked topics, is what are we doing on this road? When do you think this will be fixed? How much did this project cost the city? And all of that information is here. If you want some more information on this process, send me an email, reach out to me at City Hall. I will be more than happy to visit with you about our road projects, those costs, the planning, the timelines, any of those issues at all. So thank you, Glenpool, for being patient through this process. We are almost finished up for this summer. Driving will be back to normal soon, and we will begin to look forward to the next set of projects that will come back out here this next summer. Hey, that is it for this month's Glenpool at a Glance. We will see you next month.